Hello, everybody. My name is Brad, and today I wanted to talk about trading journals and journaling your trades. The importance behind journaling your trades, why we do it, what you can learn from it, the process that I use to journal it, reviewing your trades, and just kind of everything in between on that regard. I've talked to a lot of people, and the consensus tends to be that people know the importance of journaling. The only issue is journaling takes time and it's not the most exciting thing to be doing. We all want to be jumping on the charts and getting into trades and, doing stuff like that. Whereas, kind of taking that step back and, writing about your trade isn't the most fun, if we're completely honest about it. But it is such a valuable thing. I've been able to pick up so many key lessons from previous trades that I've taken, just taking those lessons from a position maybe that I managed well, or maybe that I managed poorly, or a trade that I entered well but managed poorly, where if I had, done a few tweaks, that would have been an amazing trade. But without further ado, let's just hop into an example of, a trade journal, how I go about it and everything like that. So we'll go to the charts. So what I'm going to be looking at here is New Zealand CAD. We're on the 4-hour chart right now, and I just wanted to call out this level. If I switch up to the daily, you'll see it a little bit clearer. So basically, we're just at this key daily level now, which is why there's a buy order here. But the trade that I'm going to be talking about in this video is this particular sell. So if I take the bar replay, let's just take it right back here. So what you'll see is an ascending channel with 1, 2, 3 touches, and then a double top at the third touch with a retrace candle and a high test. That's where I decided to enter this trade short. And so what I'm going to do is I like to take a screenshot of my trade on the entry. So I'll here do a screenshot, we'll copy the link. And I've been using Notion recently again. I know I've flip-flopped between Notion, Evernote, I've used Word, pretty much under constant switching around to figure out what I like the best, but Notion seems to be taking the win right now. So let me go to the trade journal. I'm just working off a template because I'm still messing around with it, but essentially what I'll do is I'll just duplicate my template, open that up. We're going to call this just trade number 1. And if we go back to the chart real quick, the entry would be on April the 16th. So we will go April the 16th. This is New Zealand CAD. And this is what I like about Notion, the fact that you can have all these drop downs. It just makes things so much quicker. We know it's an ascending channel that we were trading. Confirmations, we entered on a retrace candle, a double top, we had 3 touches, and we'll also add in high test candle. And you can just keep adding, and that's the beauty of Notion. It just makes your trades so much easier. This entry style was aggressive, took that aggressive entry style here. So yeah, let's jump right in. So basically what I have here is just a really easy layout. Got this drop down, pop in the screenshot, click edit bookmark, or create bookmark, sorry. And it'll load, and basically what it's going to do is you can click this, it'll go straight to the screenshot here. What you can also do if you want it embedded within Notion is just copy the picture and paste it in. Then you can also just go in and add a caption to the trade. You can just say sending channel, 3 touches, touches, took entry at double top, targeting daily double bottom. Anything that you want to put that maybe doesn't capture in here. I know I put ascending channel, things like that, but anything about the trade that you think is important, you can put under the caption. You can even write a small paragraph about the trade. It really comes down to what level of detail do you feel is the most important. For me personally, I'm a big stickler of this kind of data. I like to correlate these kind of things, patterns with different confirmations and entry styles to see what works and what complements each other. But if you want to put, how far away you had your coffee from the time you executed this trade, the time of day, what the weather was like outside, feel free to do that. Really comes down to what you like. So what I'll do now is we'll go back to the charts. And what we'll see here, I'm just going to play this forward. I'm not really going to worry about management or anything like that. Boom, we hit target. So what I'll do is now that the trade's over, I can just copy this. We know that it was a 15% trade. We hit target profit on April 16th. Fantastic. Fantastic little trade right there. Create bookmark. Again, what you can do is if you want, I'll just resave this, get save image, go copy image, and then you can just toss it down here. That way you have it actually in here as well as the link, because sometimes it's nice to just go straight to the TradingView chart, or sometimes it's nice to embed the link there. So then basically what I'll do is I'll carry on throughout my trading, and say it's the end of the week or something like that. I'm going to want to go ahead and review this trade now. That way I can see, did I manage it well? Did, is there any lessons I could learn from it? Actually, what I should do is that 15%. Okay, perfect. So I'll put this in progress. So we're going to go through the review questions that I like to go through. So basically, after reviewing this trade one more time, has your analysis trade changed? So if we go back to the charts, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a clear chart here, a different layout. Here's where the trade was, and we'll just quickly throw some trend lines in here, real quick and dirty. So basically what we have here, we still have our 3 touches, pretty clear to see. We've come from an impulse, we had this, more flags, larger, and then continuation to the downside. I still very much see this double bottom, or double top, and if we plot on the entry, the only thing that I can definitely say is my stop loss was super tight, 10 pips on New Zealand CAD is a little silly. I'd say probably a 15, 20 pip stop is more realistic. But mine was basically based on this 1 hour candle. That was solely it. Sometimes that can be effective, but sometimes you're going to get tagged in and tagged out more often than not. So if I'm looking at this, we can see that, we still have your 1, 2, 3 double top within it. You could argue that maybe this point isn't part of the structure. If that's the case, you can move it up, go, yeah, we only have 2 touches, but we got this clear double top as our override. So essentially the trade is still the same, maybe a slight variation to it. So no big deal. So what I'll do, since I have this, you can just take another screenshot of your freshly marked up chart, because what you might find is that this trade, after reanalyzing it, wasn't even a trade at all, and it really just goes to show you that you can be in a completely different perspective when you're taking a trade. So it's nice to take that same setup. So what I'll say is, after reviewing this trade one more time, has your analysis changed? No. The only change is that it may not have been a third touch, but the double top was an override. Cool. So did I follow my trading plan when executing, or analyzing, executing, and managing this position? So like I said, I was initially looking at the daily charts. I noticed that we were coming from an impulsive move to the downside. I was keeping this area in mind just because this is, we'll call it support, but whatever. This is where price has been kind of reacting to, so we knew that it was a high probability that we would make it to that point. We go to the 4 hour, it starts to get a little clearer. We get to see these clear impulsive moves to the downside, really no large correction. We get this larger correction here. Looking at it, it's a textbook ascending channel. Whether you recognize it as 3 touches or 2 touches, it doesn't really matter. It's still a go-to setup of mine. And a trade that I would take time and time again. Same thing with this double top. Something I've been starting to add in to my trades is getting that double top within the structure. It just adds an even better layer of confidence if you do get that. So I'm just going to put here, yes, this trade was per my trading plan. And from a management perspective, the only thing I can really comment on is when I was taking this trade. So it was like a 4 a.m. entry. Took it in the middle of the night, but no big deal. So basically, when price moved essentially down here, it was moved to break even, which was around the afternoon. Spiked up, saved in. You could argue that when you got to here, you're 2% in, so you'd probably lock in 1%. But what I've seen with New Zealand CAD is we can get strong pullbacks. And since I was at the top of structure coming from an impulsive move, I was okay to leave my stop loss at break even versus locking in some profit. As soon as we got this massive spike to the downside, I moved my stop loss here and, just kind of started trailing here, and then we hit my take profit. So really not too much management there. So from a trading plan perspective, it was managed really as I would expect. Could I have entered or managed the trade better? No, I think was entered and managed to maximize. And then what happened after the trade was closed out. So what we see is once the trade closed here, we spiked back up and we kind of just started to correct. So if I just draw this on, what ended up happening? We pretty much just formed a descending channel. No need to really draw it perfectly, but you get the idea. We formed this descending channel and now we're starting to pop to the upside. So price corrected and began forming a descending channel. Final thoughts for lessons learned. You can put daily zones are great places for targets. Perfect. So now what you see is we have everything we need to review this trade. In this case, it was a pretty easy trade to review. Management was good. Super easy to manage trades that are in the impulsive phase. But just going through this practice is really going to help you understand if you've taken a good trade or if there's things you can work on. Because I'm sure you've all had trades where your entry was amazing, but your management wasn't quite good. You were maybe a little bit too aggressive with your management. You got tagged out early, and what would have been an amazing trade ended up being a lackluster at best. So it's kind of taking these kind of review processes and going, I see what I've done, and what can I learn from the trade? We want to learn about trade, what we've done correctly and what we've done really well, and keep doing that. And then we want to learn from any mistakes that we may have made and try to tweak those so that we make less of those mistakes and then turn them into our strengths. And one other thing I want to show you, so now that we have this set up, you'll see that we have kind of all this detail here. We can very easily see the key components of the trade. But maybe you don't want to use Notion, maybe you're not interested in that. I definitely have a couple other options, so I will go to my Google Drive that I have in my bio. So what you'll see is I have a trade journal template, and it's just a Google Google document here. So essentially what it is kind of the same format. You got trade one, the pair, whether you bought or sold. It's kind of in here as well, the position type, result, date open, close, percentage, yada yada. Put your entry screenshot there, the trade confirmation. So anything that you put in here goes here. Then you have your after screenshot. Any comments on management, if you have any screenshots that showed, if you want to get to that kind of level of granularity, saying, oh, this is when I moved my stop loss, this was the reasoning, you can do that, especially if you're really trying to work on improving your management. Sometimes it's good to log when you've moved your stop loss, the reason for doing so, and then you can pinpoint, did I move my stop loss and did I consider a structure around it, or did I just kind of move it because I was in fear that I would lose some profits? So it's a good exercise to do as well. And then I have the same trade refinement questions here as well. And basically what you would just do is copy all of this, paste it onto another page, and just keep going. And what you'll see here is there's a table of contents, which if you click the refresh button, it'll basically keep adding all your trades, so you'll see which pages they're on. You can PDF them, that sort of stuff. So it works really well. And then one other thing that you can do as well, just because I like to give lots of options, is I have this Excel file here, and it's a lot less information, but you can just kind of fill in the information here, and then in the link tab you can put the link to your Notion trade journal. You can put it to your Evernote if you journal in Evernote. You can link your trade journal document and then just reference what page it's on. Lots of different ways, so you can have the kind of data analytics of Excel and then also link it to your trade journal, so everything's really consistent and it's just really quick and easy to jump through. You can basically emulate this format in Evernote. I've currently deleted it off my computer, so I won't be able to talk about that in today's video, but yeah, I think that's all I really wanted to cover in this video. Let me know if this was helpful. Would love to hear if you journal differently from the way I journal. What are the questions you like to ask yourself? What kind of information do you log? Definitely love to hear it in the comment section below. But yeah, that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video.